See what happens, huh? I see what happens here in New Japan Pro Wrestling when you allow a man to win a championship by hitting another man in the head with the championship belt. You think that's okay here in Japan? You can do this? Whatever you want to do. Hit me in the head with the Intercontinental Championship and then beats me for it. That is dishonorable. And I know all of you Japanese care so much about honor. Well, Naito is a dishonorable son of a bitch. He cheated to win, and all of you loved it. And now, after 6 months, 7 months, 8 fucking months, I'm no longer the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. And I'm sure you all love it. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If you think this is the end of Chris Jericho and New Japan Pro Wrestling, you're wrong. If you think it's the end of Chris Jericho being a champion in New Japan Wrestling, you're wrong. Because after being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of 2018, I will and I want a chance to become the IWGP Heavyweight Champion here in New Japan. So write that in the magazine, write it in Tokyo Sports, write it in Gong Magazine, write it in Baseball Magazine, write it in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, write it in New York Times. Chris Jericho will become the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And there's nothing anybody here can do about it. And that's all I got to say about that.
Welcome to the Hoots Podcast, everybody. It's episode 138. It's Thursday, January 10th, 2019. It's your boy Josh here, flying solo this week on the podcast. Sending good thoughts out to the good brother Adam Daly. He's dealing with illness right now. So that's why the Clown Prince will not be joining us this week. But again, I want to just give a shout out to you great people who've taken the time to listen to any of our shows over the last 4 to 5 years. And we appreciate the support that you give this podcast every single week. Even if you listen to the show for 3 minutes or even the entire duration of the show, myself and the Clown Prince are very grateful for your support. So I'm not sure how long this week's podcast is going to be. I have a lot of stuff that I want to get through because there's a lot that's been going on the past 2 weeks when it comes to professional wrestling. And in a lot of ways, as I was thinking about the podcast this week, I feel like if I fully break down every single thing that happened from all these different companies, we'd probably be having almost a 3-hour show. And I don't feel like anybody wants to go through a 3-hour wrestling podcast. There's already enough of them as it is, breaking down every segment of Raw and SmackDown, this and that. And that's not what the Hoots podcast. That's not what this podcast is. By the way, if you want to find our podcast and support us and listen to us each week, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Hoots Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, share our videos. I have a lot of my old interviews that I did on radio when I was a student at the Illinois Media School. You can check out a lot of my interviews on that same YouTube channel. So subscribe there. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/the Hoots Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. I don't feel like making 2 separate Twitter accounts, you know. My life is not that interesting for people, for me to have my own separate page for myself. Sometimes I don't even know if people really even care what I have to say at times, so why even bother making a separate Twitter account? But anything you want to know what's going on with my work or the show in general, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. That's my wrestling result website that I created last year. 2 years ago, actually. And we've been doing play-by-play articles for just about every single wrestling television show and pay-per-view that I possibly can. And I do about 6 or 7 shows per week for you guys. And with the announcement of All Elite Wrestling, I'm sure that's going to be added to the list. So if you enjoy my transcription articles, please go check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. I have something cool coming out in a couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys noted when that comes out. I did an interview. I was a guest on a certain Good Brothers show, and I got the chance to be interviewed, so that was a lot of fun. And once that information comes out, I'll plug it here on the show. So today, again, I have so much I need to go over here that I feel like I'm going to be doing a disservice to, a pay-per-view, week of programming, AEW. I don't know. There's a lot we need to get to because we got the Royal Rumble coming up in 2 weeks, right? AEW just had their rally, their first ever press conference in Jacksonville on Tuesday. We had WrestleKingdom this past Friday. TNA had their Homecoming pay-per-view. This whole week's been very much a blur for me from a professional side and also emotionally too. There's some stuff that happened during New Year's weekend with my mother's boyfriend. He had a heart attack, 2 heart attacks actually, the Friday before that weekend, and it was rough. But Josh, his name, he's doing fine. He's doing very well. He's in a better place right now, so that's what's important. So I think for me, a lot of times, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could attest to this, where you could be going through a rash of this strange things happening to you, having a falling out relationship with a friend, right? Or a divorce the next day, or maybe 2 days later, a friend of yours, dies, or the day after that, there's somebody had a heart attack. Like, these rash of bad events that can happen at the moment's notice. I've been through it a lot through my life, and I became numb to it to a certain extent, even to the point where I can't even like it's hard when I hear about deaths and things. It's like a lot of times I feel like I've lost a lot of emotion that you would expect from a normal person, and crying and this and that. I have my moments where I cry just like anybody else, but there's a lot of numbness to the things I've gone through and seen through my life, where I'm not looking at it as a bad thing. It's part of life. I know in certain cases for people who live in bad neighborhoods that they see killings and shootings almost every day. So I can't put myself in a box where my issues are bigger than yours or anything like that. But the fact that Josh is doing better, I'm happy for that. I'm happy that for my mom. So I've been keeping that quiet for the last couple of weeks because I was still trying to digest this whole thing. The guy's 35 years old, and I'm happy that he makes my mom happy. I am a product of divorced parents, for those that don't know. Yeah. My parents got divorced, I think my junior or senior year of high school. And in a lot of those cases, you have your options. You could be the kid who uses their parents for attention and get whatever you want, or you could be in my case and start growing to be independent and start doing things and making decisions for yourself. I love my parents just as much now as I did when they were together. I may have had on and off distances with my mother. I have a good bond with my dad. And, all I want is for my parents to be happy at the end of the day with whatever they're doing. They made the choice to separate each other. It's not a reflection of myself in this process. My sister, Alex, had a different dad, so it's not relatable to this situation. So, seeing Josh, her boyfriend, having the heart attack almost 2 weeks ago, tomorrow, and looking how she went through that, and just being there, being a good support system for her during that process is something that obviously I would do for anybody in my family, or people in my inner circle. Hell, I would do that for Adam if he was going through something like that, So, personally, myself, I'm not really in a selfish state of mind anymore, I guess. I'll admit, I think I was when I was in high school, only because I was relegated to a lot of assumptions of who I am as a person without people actually getting to know me. And a lot of that angst inside of me stemmed also at home because it was a toxic environment, and I knew that this marriage was about to end. And I was like, 16, 17 years old. I didn't know how to handle it at that time, It's the big part of maturing as a dude during that time period. Your family's becoming a part, a very important time in your life. So I really drove myself to reach certain goals in high school, and I didn't care at the end of the day, like who I offended, who I was cool with, who I was not cool with. I became a loner in a lot of ways, and a lot of that time period has affected me along the way, even to this day, because I'm not going out in clubs every weekend. I'm not spending time with people that I went to high school with or keeping contact with. I don't have constant communication with people. I really don't have much cliques or anything like that. And again, I'm not looking for sympathy, but fuck it. We're gonna be on here. I'm flying solo today, so I guess it'd be a good time for you guys to get to know me personally, and just have a chill, relaxed show, and just be honest with each other. I think honesty is something that a lot of us are unable to accept or confront in the mirror. I was seeing a friend of mine talk about this the other day on Twitter, where you're not trying to fix the issue, let's say like in a relationship, right? And anything, relationships, business, family, whatever. I think a lot of us, especially I could speak for males, and I'm not putting myself in this position because I don't look at it this way, but from what I noticed and observed from other dudes my age, a lot of us have issues with accepting the reality of losing affection for certain females. You could have a 6-7 year relationship with someone, and unfortunately, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but in a lot of cases, a lot of guys go through the emotions of feeling like, oh, okay, this is working. I have something here. It's not going where, so I don't have to put as much. I don't have to put as much into this relationship because my partner is not going to do anything, right? But at the same time, I think a lot of this is all like meaningless. A lot of the relationship issues that I see on social media these days, because a lot of it can be avoided. I think a lot of times us as people forget what relationships are, and a lot of us change who we are just to justify the relationship. And I don't think that's a cool thing, and I don't think it's the right thing to do, just in my opinion. Like, I've been cheated on a couple of times. I'm not afraid to admit it. But also, at the same time, I knew when to call things off, and I know how to attack issues head on. I really don't try to get myself in a position where I'm so royally pissed off over something that didn't work out, because I had to do what I have to do to avoid those type of situations. That's just the person I am. I think that's a lot of the reasons why I'm very positive on this show, and I have a positive mental attitude, because there's been a lot of things in my life that could have made me very bitter and spiteful, and maybe some people in my position would feel that I should be justified in having that type of approach, but we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth. I really don't, but what I do know is that I can control what I control. I can control how I go about things. I can control about what I put my time into. I can control what people come into my life and how much energy I want to put into that said person. So if you do hear from me and we do have constant communication, it means I do care about you. And I'll go back to the selfish comment a couple moments ago. It wasn't selfish or cocky, I say, in high school. It was selfish and goal-oriented because I wanted to prove a lot of people wrong in that school. Our music teacher was like, the first day of my freshman year of high school, like, no one's going to get accepted to the college I went to. And I was like, okay, that's my challenge. That's the main thing I focused on that entire time I was at the school. And I accomplished that goal. Now, I wasn't able to afford or attend the school, but, I have that in my batch, and it's something that I can look back fondly because, when you want something really bad, take it. Like, seriously, take it. Nobody is going to hold you back from what you want in life but you. I thought that wouldn't be the case in many different situations, but through, leaving different websites and doing different podcasts throughout the 6 years of doing this, and even taking a chance of becoming a broadcaster in 2013, I realized I had to take things at face value and just go about what I want. What do I want out of this? What do I want out of this career? What do I want out of this show? What do I want going forward? I'm not tied down to a relationship. I don't have kids. I've never been arrested before. I'm a broadcaster who's not signed by a major company right now. I do side articles for different websites, and I work at my uncle's tattoo shop. That's my life right now. And I come here each week and record this podcast for you as a wrestling fan. I'm not an analyst. I'm not an expert. I'm me. And I find myself sitting here a lot of times just thinking about, what do I want out of this? Why am I doing this? Why am I dedicating the time to edit the show, record it every single week? Why am I pursuing this field of professional wrestling so much when I could be doing something else, or going back to music, or maybe switching my focus to sports? I know what I want. I know what I want to do. I'm just going about it my way. And I don't think there's a template or a book for dummies in how to reach your goals. You have to do what you have to do to attain those goals. And I think I'm on the right track. I pride myself on my work ethic and just going about my work my own way. I let my work speak for itself. Whether you like our content or not, that's not for me to say or control. For those who do support, I truly do appreciate that. But personally, I'm not. There's a few things that I don't want. I don't want to be distracted, and I don't want to put these goals and things I've already put 5 years into to push to the side just to fit what's going on in our society today. I don't relate to our society today. Yes, I was born in 1994, so ding, I'm a millennial, okay? So, yeah, I'm a millennial. So that's the label that I've been thrust upon due to the year I was born. So, okay, so supposedly I'm a millennial. I want things handed to me. Nope. I want handouts. Nope. I want people to feel sorry for me. No. A lot of the stereotypes that you would see a lot of people talk about millennials, and if you knew me personally and see me face to face and we had a real conversation with each other, you would know that I don't identify with any of those labels or traits that come with millennials these days. And I just don't relate to today's society. I don't relate to this I'm right and you're wrong society. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about personally, and this is a good time for me to come on here and talk about it with you guys since I'm doing this solo today. And I got nothing to hide. And maybe that could be a fault of mine, a flaw of mine at times, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, but we gotta live with our flaws. I'm not perfect, nor am I striving to be perfect or impress anybody. I just want to be myself. And if sometimes our conversations on here are too real for you, I'm sorry for that, but I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing, and what makes this show click and drive for certain people. That's what we're doing here. We're authentic, we're organic, we're having real conversations. We're having a real deep conversation right now as you're listening to this right now. I want you to feel like I'm sitting next to you and we're talking about this. Now, I may not be hearing what you're responding back, but I am curious to get your guys' thoughts on this segment as I go on with this monologue and close it up in a couple of seconds. So, yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks to say the least. Josh survived the heart attack, so I'm happy for my mother. I'm happy for him. So things are doing better at home. I'm not distracted by any relationships, so that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. And professionally, I've been putting the grunt work over the last couple weeks. WrestleKingdom I covered live on Friday before I worked that early day shift at the tattoo shop, so I didn't get any sleep last Friday or Saturday. So I did that, and then Saturday, when I got home to my mom's house, I did the New Year's Dash show. So that's like their main pay-per-view they do the day after WrestleKingdom. So that's always a fun show to cover. And then Sunday, I watched the Bears game. And for those who are listeners to the YouTube channel, I'm going to be recording a video just giving my thoughts on the 2018 Chicago Bears as a whole. It's a little separate video I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's just going to be me and you talking about it. I'm going to be on camera to talk about it as well, so I'll let you know once I record that bad boy. So I watched the Bears game, and it was very deflating and very disappointing. I felt a connection with this football team, and it was very, very exciting time to be a Chicago Bears fan, and the sky's the limit for this organization for the next 4 to 5 years. Besides that, I watched the Bears game, obviously, and then Sunday night, I put money in my own pocket to watch the Impact Wrestling Homecoming pay-per-view from the Asylum. $40. Boom. There you go. There's your money, Impact. Don't say that I never supported you. Okay. So I cover Impact, the Homecoming pay-per-view. Get that out of the way. Monday, Tuesday, back to the work grind at the tattoo shop. Did the Raw article on Monday, I think. No, I did the Raw article on Tuesday morning. Tuesday, we were at the tattoo shop till 2 in the morning. Very, very long night, getting some good tattoos out of the way. If you live in Chicago, you can come say hello to me at Infamous Inc., 1606 West North Avenue in Chicago. It's right across the street from the Hollywood Grill for those who live in the Rickard Park area. So if you guys want to come say hello to me, if you're a listener to this podcast and live in Chicago, I'd love to meet you guys and come say hello. I promise you I won't be able to do a tattoo for you. I'm not a artist. The only art I do is playing nylon string guitars and bass. That's it. That's the only art I can do. But I'd love to see you guys there at the tattoo shop. So yeah, this past almost 2 to 3 weeks has been a major, major blur for me. We had a lot of fun on the podcast last week, talking about all the ins and outs of All Elite Wrestling and kind of the back and forth perception of what it is and the dumb, this is the WWE versus AEW angle that people are already running with. And, I look at like live chats, right? Let's say there's like a live press conference, a live press conference of anything, WWE live press conference for WrestleMania for whatever city they're in next year, right? Or the conference rally that they had in Jacksonville on Tuesday. And when you look at the chat rooms in the comment section of all these press conferences, or even like the Mixed Match Challenge in a lot of ways, I see the ugliness of our fan base. And it's really sad, like reading these comments. I don't engage in a dialogue because I think it's silly, and I want to stray away from things that are going to affect my mindset and I shouldn't put energy into. And I'm looking at these comments, and it's like, rest in peace Vince, and rest in peace WWE, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, here we go. WCW's here, and we're talking about this last week. And it's like, I'm very excited that All Elite Wrestling is happening in general. However, at the same time, I'm not interested in this dialogue that we need to start internal conflict or warfare. Chris Jericho is now part of AEW, which is awesome. But him saying, "Oh, we're going to change the universe." Okay, do it. Don't tell me that you're going to change the world or you're going to change the universe. Do it. Do it. I've got to the point as a wrestling fan when I see these startup companies and they're making their marketing campaigns about what we are and what we're not and all this. And as a wrestling fan, seeing like Global Force Wrestling flop, seeing Impact on Monday nights flop, all these other different shows starting from the ground up, and they're like, oh, this could be the alternative every wrestling fan's looking for. I become numb to it in a lot of ways. Show me that you are what you say you are. I was also begrudging in the fact when New Japan was getting their like super crazed hype on social media a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, here we go. Here's the flavor of the month, right? The greatest things is sliced bread. But as I took time to cover the product and cover the tournaments daily and doing the G1 and doing like the New Japan Cup, I grew more appreciation for the company and what they were offering. And I understand what they were selling to me in that way. I want to watch AEW for what it is. So now they're doing Double or Nothing. This is their next pay-per-view special. They're doing in the MGM Grand Garden Arena, right? So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're having a wrestling show back there. I think that's great. I think it's cool that they're having StarCast, the second edition of StarCast that weekend as well. And, looking at the production they put into that press conference, it was pretty impressive. So, Tony Khan, I finally got his name right. Tony Khan is the president who's backing this promotion now for All Elite Wrestling, and his family's part owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you get to see the Jaguar cheerleaders. You get to see their football stadium in the background. This is the coolest thing ever. I'm watching the rally before I go to work on Tuesday, because I wanted to see this. I talked about this with a good buddy of mine, Dedrian Cologne, on his show on Monday, and we're talking about what is AEW and what our excitement level is for it. And I was telling him, I want to know some things internally about the infrastructure of what this company is going to be before I can say this is this and this is that. So here's my opportunity. Here we are. Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks are on there. We got Hangman Page signed to the company. Neville's going to be on there now. Joey Janela, I saw, is going to be part of the company. So a lot of the people that you saw at All In are probably signed or going to be part of AEW in some type of partnership agreement along the way. We found out that the pay structure for both the male and female competitors is going to be the same, which is cool. I have no problem with that. That's the way business should be done. We also saw Cody Rhodes talking about wins and losses are going to matter more. So here's the thing. For those who know me and listen to this podcast and listen to my past on the Pipe Bomb, to me personally, when I watch a wrestling show, the last thing I care about is wins and losses, because when I was younger, which I find ironic because my dad was the one who introduced wrestling to me, but he was also like All right, don't take this seriously if your favorite wrestler loses because it's not real. It's predetermined. So the guy who introduced me into wrestling was a wrestling fan, but also was telling me everything every non-wrestling fan would tell you. Like, don't put your heart into it because, if your favorite loses or they're not the main guy, it's not the end of the world, it's predetermined, and it goes through cycles, right? So at the young age, I realized to not take this seriously. It was about entertainment. I wanted to be entertained by the shows. That's it. You put on a good show for me, I'm going to support your product. Put on some good matches, I'm going to support your product. Now, as every fan of any entertainment platform, you're going to be a fan of certain wrestlers and tag teams or this or that, and you're gonna placate to your favorites. I understand that. That's part of being a fan of any entertainment property. I totally understand that. But like I was talking about it last week with Adam, it's not a sport. So when I'm hearing Cody Rhodes talking about wins and losses going to matter, you're already telling your audience what we already know, that wrestling is predetermined, right? Like, how's that a selling point to me? Like, wrestling to me is not dictated by booking for myself personally. And I can say that because as a wrestling fan, there's not one way to look at wrestling and critique it or view it, whether it's a success or failure based on how many people win or lose or this or that. Booking is subjective, at least in my world. I don't care about that stuff. I don't. I want an entertaining show. So when I'm hearing, okay, here's our thing, this is how we're going to be different, wins and losses are going to matter, I look at that as window dressing. I really do, because we're all going to say things. If we're starting something new, right, we're all going to say things to, going to say certain phrases and say certain things. We're going to address certain things that are going to touch you, the listener, to get your attention, right? We're going to say things that you want to hear, but are we actually going to go about it that way? And I'm very curious about that when it comes to this whole, okay, wins and losses are going to matter now. Okay, cool. Wins and losses are going to matter now at AEW. They don't even have their TV deal announced. We don't even know what network they're going to be on, but wins and losses are going to matter. Okay, let's see how that goes. I think the additions to the rosters that they have is very good. I enjoyed the All-In pay-per-view, just like you did. I wish I was able to attend that show. But I really enjoyed the All-In pay-per-view. And I would be surprised that the Double or Nothing pay-per-view in Vegas will be a major success. Wrestling-wise and entertainment-wise and storytelling-wise, with all these guys that are involved in this company, I'm not discouraged or have any concerns that they're going to put on badass shows. I'm not worried about that. I know they'll do their job. But it's just those little small things. It's like, okay, is that necessary? It's like show me. Like, I'm at the point, just show me what you are and how you're different. Stop telling me that you're not doing something that you read on Meltzer's website the day before, and him and Brian Alvarez having a bitching contest on their review shows, and then bringing that to your marketing campaign. I don't care what Brian Alvarez or Dave Meltzer have to say. I really don't. I could give two shits. I really don't care. And I don't care if they're making money out of AEW. I don't care if Ryan Satin is a hype man for AEW. I really do not. I don't. So, Chris Jericho is the big get for AEW, and I'm sure we'll get more announcements as the months go by as far as roster is concerned, and I think AEW will be a success. But I just thought it funny. It's like, okay, here's our hit, here's our pitch. Okay, wins and losses are gonna matter. Okay, I've been watching wrestling since 1998, and never once did I care about wins and losses. You know, is it cool to see your favorite win? Yeah, but I knew what was behind it. So it doesn't grab me as other people are so clean to booking these days that the end all be all for a wrestling show to be good is booking. you never booked the show before, so how would you know what worked or didn't? So I just never understood that mindset. So as we move on here, I want to talk about WrestleKingdom 13 because I got a chance to cover it live. It was one of the biggest wrestling shows of the year. It is annually, every single year. WrestleKingdom 13 from the Tokyo Dome. Get more love for these AEW guys. And it was a lot of the salute to those guys because that was their final New Japan shows before all these rallies and events that they're doing now. And yeah, Cody Rhodes coming out dressed as in Jacksonville Jaguar gear. I think the Young Bucks also had Jacksonville Jaguar inspired gear as well. There was a lot of good matches on this show. A lot of them. Looking at Kushida and Taiji Ishimori, that was a lot of fun. Kushida has announced that he's retiring from New Japan. I do not know where he's going next. If he's part of 205 Live or NXT, I think that'd be awesome. I enjoy a lot of Kushida's work. I don't have the emotional connection to Back to the Future like a lot of you do, but yeah, I'm happy for Kushida. He had an awesome match with Taiji Ishimori. You know, a lot of the titles changed at Wrestle Kingdom this year. It's not new, but I think almost every single title in New Japan changed hands at Wrestle Kingdom. I could be wrong about that. I could be right. I'm not sure. But other matches that stood out to me, I really enjoyed the Young Bucks, Guerrillas of Destiny, and Evil Sonata match. That triple threat match was awesome. The opening match with Will Ospreay and Kota Ibushi was awesome. I hope Ibushi's feeling better because that was a nasty ending sequence to that match. That match was phenomenal. If you look at amazing opening matches for these major pay-per-views, you look at a Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio from SummerSlam 2002, or you look at a Owen Hart and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 10, Daniel Bryan and Triple H from WrestleMania 30, just those that really stick out to you from the top of your head. Hell, even last year's WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor, that triple threat match that started off the show. Opening matches are very important in setting the tone of what your show is going to be produced, and I thought Will Ospreay and Ibushi just teared it up. It was cool. It was really nice to see a singles match start off Wrestle Kingdom, and I thought that was really, really fun and enjoyable to watch. Ishii and Sabre was cool. I am biased. I like seeing Ishii win matches and this and that. I have my exceptions when it comes to booking or whatever. We all do at the end of the day. But Ishii had a really good match with Zack Sabre Jr. Some people are hit and miss with Zack Sabre Jr., and that's fine. But also, I wanted to say this really quick when it came to Wrestle Kingdom. Let's see which match. I want to get this right. The Chris Jericho Tetsuya Naito match. It's very interesting because Chris Jericho brought his dad, the legendary Ted Irvin, to Tokyo to watch his son perform at the Tokyo Dome. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. So Naito and Jericho had the no disqualification match at Wrestle Kingdom this year for the IC title. It was a lot of fun. Jericho is still phenomenal as age from a storytelling standpoint and what he puts into these matches. Especially a lot of them not being no DQ in New Japan. I guess that's his thing. Every match he's going to have is going to be no DQ. I have a promo that I'm going to be sharing for Jericho at the beginning of the podcast where he talks about his future goals with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I hope you guys pay attention to that at the beginning of the show. Also, I want to give a shout out to Okada and Jay White. It really shows something with Okada because, a guy like that who main evented 6 or 7 Wrestle Kingdoms in a row really put his ego to the side and really just busted his ass and kicked ass in that match with Jay White. That was one of my favorite matches of the show. I think Ospreay and Ibushi was my favorite, but I think Jay White and Okada was up there with them as well. It was a really, really good match. If you haven't seen Okada versus Jay White, please go check that out. As I say that, I'm going to take a swig of Dasani water. By the way, folks, drink water. Stay away from the alcohol. It's not good for you. Boom. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol. I'm not gonna be like punkier and be like, don't do this. You're a bad person if you drink alcohol or anything. I'm not gonna begrudge you. But I am straight edge, so that's something for you guys that don't know. I don't drink and I don't smoke, but I'm not. My head's kind of shaved. I should be bald, to be honest with you. My hairline's brutal. I can't take my hairline seriously. It's bad. It's a bad trait that I got from my dad's side of the family. My Uncle Noel's bald. Before you know it, I'm going to be bald. I'm turning 25 this year, by the way, and I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest with you. It's crazy. But going back to Wrestle Kingdom, the main event, Kenny Omega and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Awesome match. Very, very good. I'm very happy for those guys. I don't know why people are being like indifferent towards that match before the pay-per-view started. I don't know. It was weird. Kenny Omega and Tanahashi ripped it up, man. It was a lot of fun. And I always loved Kenny Omega, the wrestler. And Tanahashi's the legend in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's definitely the Mount Rushmore of whatever the Mount Rushmore is for New Japan Pro Wrestling, in my opinion. Especially for what he's done for the last 20 years for that company. I really enjoyed that main event match. Kenny Omega loses the IWGP Heavyweight title to Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi conquering his quest from winning the G1 to main eventing Wrestle Kingdom, and now he is, again, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. New Year's Dash featured Taichi laying out Tetsuya Naito, so I guess that's going to be the next big feud. Now the next pay-per-view series for New Japan Pro Wrestling is the New Beginning show, so I'll be keeping you guys updated when that comes out, and I'll be doing the articles for those shows. They got the New Beginning in Sapporo. I'm looking forward to that. And also they got new Beginning shows in California and Nashville. So I'm very, very excited for that. I'm very curious to watch those shows. Impact Wrestling Homecoming. I want to get into that really quick because, again, as I was saying at the beginning of the show, I felt like I was going to do one of these shows a disservice by not talking about them, and I was going to feel really, really bad about it. Really quick, let's talk about my highlights from the Homecoming pay-per-view. Willie Mack and Sami Callihan, that was a really, really good match. The Monsters Ball match was what it was. I'm sorry, guys, I'm kind of indifferent towards the Abyss now. I love Eli Drake, but that match really didn't do anything for me. The Knockouts Championship match with Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie was really good. I liked this match more than their Bound for Glory match. Gail Kim was the special guest referee, and I know some people are like, oh, really? You're going to have Gail cost Tessa the title? And again, I don't get it with certain wrestlers and their fans, and they're like, oh, if they have a screwy finish, oh, they're being booked wrong, and this, that. It's a lot of that argument as to why I'm indifferent towards booking, because a lot of it is so minuscule and it's so, like, ridiculous, the fact that you're going to really be pissed off over that. Like, understand, you have a favorite wrestler, they're gonna lose a match. Just understand that. If you have a favorite wrestler in any wrestling company, even AEW, understand they're gonna lose a major match here and there. I don't know if people really want clean finishes for every single wrestling match. Because if this is all about booking, that's all we care about, be careful what you wish for. Again, be careful what you wish for, because you may get it and it's not going to be pretty for you. It's interesting. Like, we want these things in life, especially relationship-wise, but once it comes to us and we have to face that reality face on, you don't want it. And you try to run away from it. And then you learn from those mistakes because, I think I can get this, I can get that. And this is how it's going to be. And it's not. Let the reality come to you and be yourself in that process. That's my tip for you guys today. That's my motivational tip for the podcast this week. You know, we're all going to deal with obstacles in life, but just remember to be yourself. That's the best way to go about it. Because a lot of times, you know, you have people come up to you and be like, oh, man, you're really strong during these hard times and this and that. And it's just, you know, it's just the fabric of who you are. Be who you are. You're part of a family. So there's something bad going on at home, or somebody had a bad situation like my mother's boyfriend just had a couple weeks ago. You know, I was being the support system that I had to be. I was just being myself in that situation. That's the only way I could go about it. You know, we can't control losing our emotions and this and that, being emotionally unstable at times. We all go through that. But again, you know, when you have something really bad coming towards you, the best way to conquer it or not let it consume you and overtake you is just to be yourself during that process. So that's my tip for you guys this week. All right. Going back to Impact Wrestling Homecoming, Rosemary made her return, so it was nice to see her. I thought the Ultimate X match that started the show was pretty cool. Very, very good match. Shane Chris is a very underrated wrestler, in my opinion. Very, very talented guy. I love all those guys from OVE. They're very, very good. What else stood out to me? I thought the Johnny Impact Brian Cage match was really good. I really enjoyed that match. That was a lot of fun. The main event, you know, we had the Survivor guys interfere and cost Cage the title, so some people felt salty about that. I thought the wrestling portion of that match was good. I also really liked the LAX Lucha Brother match. That was very, very good. It was a lot of fun. It was just a good, old-fashioned Lucha Libre tag team match. It was a lot of fun. A lot of cool high spots in that match as well. So, Impact Wrestling Homecoming, it was cool to watch another pay-per-view in the Asylum. I don't know if they're taping their TV there this week, but they're now having their shows on the Pursuit channel, so I have to catch up with that and see what's going on with there. But, yeah, you can check out my article from Impact Wrestling Homecoming on ProWrestlingTranscripts.com if you haven't had a chance to watch Impact Wrestling Homecoming. As we wrap these up this week on the podcast, let's talk about what's going on with WWE as we're on the road to the Royal Rumble and NXT TakeOver Phoenix. I haven't had a chance to watch the NXT show for this week, so I'm sorry if I'm missing matches that are already announced for that show. I know that Bianca Belair is fighting Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship, which I think is very, very cool. Johnny Gargano against Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship. I'm not sure, but I think I may have seen this match in person at an AEW show. I could be wrong. I have to look back into the archives, but I may have seen this match in person. If I haven't, it's going to be cool to document this match at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. Really quick, I want to talk about the two. Aleister Black against Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. So those are the matches I know for sure that's happening at NXT TakeOver Phoenix. Now back to the WWE. Let me just say this. Alexa Bliss is the gift that keeps on giving. I just want to get that out of the way. I love that woman, man. I love her. We have different tiers of crushes as dudes, right? Like, you know, this is who we like or whatever. I always felt like Kristen Stewart as Bella Swan was my celebrity soulmate. Not a lot of people know that. Like, Kristen Stewart's like my main crush out of everybody in this entire earth. So I have that from the movie entertainment field, right? So that's my main crush in that field. Music-wise, I think my crush music-wise would probably be Humana. That's a good question. There's a lot of options. I'd say Faith Evans. I'd say Faith Evans would be the crush for my opinion in music. And then wrestling-wise, it's Alexa Bliss. It's either Alexa Bliss or Becky Lynch for me. Back then when I was younger, it was Mickie James, but I think the fact of her being married now and all the other stuff is turned off now, so I can't really say Mickie James anymore. So if I had like 3-tier crush as a dude, and by the way, like as we were saying last week on the show, I'm not coming on here trying to be male chauvinist or anything like that. We're having a real honest conversation. I'm a dude. I'm single. I'm not married. I'm not dating anyone, so nobody's gonna get offended by me saying who I have crushes on. Okay, I'm not gonna go anything about it in a strange way either, so don't worry about that. Alexa Bliss, Kristen Stewart, and Faith Evans are like my main 3 crushes I've had in life so far. So I'll get that out of the way. So she had a moment of bliss. She interviewed Ronda Rousey, and this led to Sasha Banks coming out because Ronda Rousey was like she wanted to give the next title opportunity to Sasha Banks because Ronda called her the true Cinderella story of the Raw Women's Division, and it was cool. Nia Jax, of course, had an interview because she's playing the angle that the whole world revolves around her and that she can break people's faces. This leads to a match with Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. The winner faces Ronda at the Royal Rumble. Sasha makes Nia tap out to the Banks statement. We have our match: Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. Very cool. Very cool. Have no problem with that one bit. I think it would be a good match. It's a different match we haven't seen yet. Sasha's getting a big pay-per-view spotlight at the Royal Rumble, so her fans could calm their tits for a little bit, for a while. I remember that a couple of years ago, like, oh, if Sasha doesn't win or get on a winning streak, it's an abject failure, this and that. Like, oh, God. I hated the Sasha debate topics on the pipe bomb. I hated it. I dreaded it. Like, the debate that Matt did with Derek when it was Sasha and Charlotte, I thought that was cool because it was pertaining to the feud they were having at the time. But the overall Sasha Banks, is she being held back or not topic, kind of like Finn Balor right now. Like, I hate those type of arguments. It's so nauseating to listen to as a fan of wrestling and listening to other wrestling podcasts. So this is just my observation. But now she's getting the title shot. Let's see what happens. It's gonna be very cool for her to get this title shot. Other stuff on Raw. We had Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley trying to tear each other apart in the dump known as Orlando, Florida. Yes, I'm going to call Orlando a dump because it is a dump. Camping World Stadium is even a bigger dump than most will imagine. Hopefully they do not do another WrestleMania in Orlando. I'm probably going to be missing this year's WrestleMania, which is going to suck because I haven't been to New York in a very, very long time, and I'd like to check it out, and I haven't had a chance to check out MetLife Stadium yet. But I'm curious to see where things are going here as we head towards the road to WrestleMania. I want to pose this question for you guys as you're listening to this right now. I have everybody for Raw and SmackDown right now, so now we know that the Royal Rumble match winner is going back to like the old days. The winner will get to choose which champion they want in the main event of WrestleMania. So it's not, okay, you're from Raw or SmackDown, you win, you get the title shot. So, no, okay, Radio, you win the Royal Rumble, so you fight Bray Wyatt. No, Triple H, no, I can't say Triple H because that Royal Rumble match was for the WWE title. So that was the first time that happened. No, actually, it's the second time, actually. I want to get my history right. Damn it. God damn it, Josh. Do your damn homework. Know what the fuck you're talking about, pal. Yeah. So here's my question. Everybody for Raw and SmackDown right now, for the female and male side, who do you think is like the wild card? Who do you think that nobody would expect to win their prospective Royal Rumble matches this year? I have my ideas, but it's interesting. I'm curious, like, for you right now, who do you think would be like the wild card factor in these Rumble matches that you wouldn't expect to see win and surprise everybody, right? Like, for me, I would have like Kevin Owens come back and win the Royal Rumble. Like, that would be like my wild card for the men's Royal Rumble match. I'm not sure yet for the females because a lot of them had their own reasons to win the Rumble match. They would. Alexa Bliss did win Money in the Bank. She was not in the Rumble last year. Oh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you walk into the fantasy booking world of Josh Lopez, where I think out loud and I find my thoughts here. So, here we go. Phoenix, Arizona, January 27th. Chase Field in Arizona, like I said. Kevin Owens and Alexa Bliss are my two wild cards to win this year's men's and females Royal Rumble matches. Boom! There you go. I got you. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Take that! No, I'm kidding. Really quick, let's go to some of the other matches on Raw and SmackDown this week. I thought the 6-man tag team match to start Raw was a very good, action-packed match. The Revival got screwed again against Byron and Chad Gable. I think the Revival will probably win the Raw tag team titles at the Royal Rumble. I talked about the Ronda Rousey Sasha Banks thing, so cool. I got that out of the way. SmackDown. Okay, SmackDown had some really, really good wrestling matches this week. I really enjoyed it. The Usos and Bar match was really good. I'm not sure if they had 25 minutes of live television on that match because I was working on Tuesday night, obviously, so I couldn't watch SmackDown live. So I watched it the day after. I was watching it yesterday morning, and I was like, man, this match is taking longer to transcribe than I usually am because that match was long. Was it 20, 30 minutes? Because if it was, I thought that was pretty cool. So now we're having the Bar against Shane McMahon and The Miz for the SmackDown Tag Team titles at the Royal Rumble. That'll be a fun little match. I'm looking forward to that. We had Samoa Joe and Andrade Cien almost tear the house down with Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali. That was awesome. The Rey Mysterio monkey flip, sunset flip power bomb. That was awesome. Mustafa Ali's the fucking man. I love this dude, man. I'm so happy for his success in repping Chicago very, very well, man. I'm happy for him. And even Mustafa Ali is now going to be part of the Royal Rumble match. How awesome is that? That's pretty fucking dope. The Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair triple threat match was really good. That was the main event of SmackDown this week. It was a rematch for their title match that they had at SummerSlam last year. And I was mentioning this on Instagram yesterday. Like, Carmella is so underappreciated as a female wrestler. It's insane. Like, you know, like a lot of people give Alexa Bliss flack for her wrestling capabilities and this and that. I disagree. I think wrestling skill sets could be curtailed by what character you're playing. You know, just because you have a heel that may have different characteristics than another doesn't mean that person has to do the same dives and flips and rapid fire sequences as another heel would in a single grudge feud with a different partner. You know, like, not every wrestling match has to be sequenced or choreographed in the way that you would see it on an indie show. It doesn't. I think Alexa Bliss and Carmella structure their matches and do such a good job with it as it is, and I think it's cool. I think it's very cool at how they go about it because they're wrestling in the ring, placates the characters that they're playing on air, and Carmella does a very good job in the ring, and I think Alexa Bliss does a good job in the ring, and they don't get enough credit as they deserve. Obviously, Becky Lynch, the best female wrestler in the world. In God's great creation. Sorry, Mandy Rose. Yeah, but so Becky Lynch wins. She's going to be fighting Asuka at the Royal Rumble this year. There's a lot of good women's title matches this month for the WWE brand as a whole. So, for example, as we're going to get into NXT TakeOver UK Blackpool in a couple of minutes to wrap up this show, we have Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and Asuka and the female Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So we got 3 women's matches at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Think about that. That's awesome. We have Bianca Belair against Shayna Baszler at NXT TakeOver Phoenix. That's going to be a cool match. And now as we get into NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, we have Rhea Ripley against Toni Storm for the NXT UK Women's Championship. That's going to be an awesome match. So coming up this Saturday, I'll be covering the event live. We got NXT TakeOver UK Blackpool. I'm very excited for this show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness do a phenomenal job doing commentary for those shows. By the way, I don't know if they have to dish out 2 episodes each week for their show. I know they tape it out of schedule and this and that, but man, that's a lot of work to put in 2 episodes. And both of them are hour long, too. It's not a 205 Live thing where they tape it before SmackDown. It's like 43 minutes, right? That's fine. That's nothing. But these NXT UK these NXT UK shows weekly, man, they're long. They are long. But they put out some really good wrestling matches. I'm excited for this pay-per-view coming up, I'd say. I really am. The Rhea Ripley Toni Storm match should be a lot of fun. I think Rhea Ripley probably retained in that match. Also, I'm excited for Travis Banks against Jordan Devlin. That's going to be a fun match. I'm going with Jordan Devlin in that one. We got Joe Coffey for Gals against Pete Dunne for the NXT not the NXT, it's for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. I got Pete Dunne. I will say this though, and I'm going with this. I'm going with this theme this year because I'm turning 25 this year. Nothing will shock me this year. I think as we get to the middle stages and we're going to get to like our 30s and we're 25, we're getting to that almost close to that midway part of our life. Nothing should really surprise us. And even for me as a wrestling fan, nothing in 2019 wrestling-wise will surprise me. So, yeah, I'm going with Pete Dunne to win. But I will not be shocked if Joe Coffey wins the WWE United Kingdom Championship. You know, it'll shock a lot of people. It'll be a big moment for that brand. But I would not be surprised one bit. But I am very, very excited for that match. Eddie Dennis against Dave Mastiff in the no disqualification match. That should be a lot of fun. I'm going with Dave Mastiff to put an end to Eddie Dennis for their rivalry. I'm looking forward to that match. These just 2 big guys beating the shit out of each other. That's going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to that. And then the match I'm looking forward to the most. Mustache Mountain against James Drake and Zach Gibson, Liverpool's #1. Oh boy. You want some good tag team wrestling? Make sure to check out Mustache Mountain against James Drake and Liverpool's #1 Zach Gibson. I'm so excited for that match. I can't tell you how excited I am, man. So NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool is coming out this Saturday live on the WWE Network, so I'll be doing that article on ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. Make sure to bookmark that site right now. I want to thank you guys so much for enjoying this solo edition of the Hoots podcast. Hopefully the good brother Adam Daly gets better from his illnesses and stuff, and he'll be back here next week. We're getting close to covering the Royal Rumble, so I'm excited for that. And real quick, I want to get some football picks out of the way since we got the divisional rounds coming up in a couple days. I have the Colts beating the Chiefs. I have the Chargers beating the Patriots. I have the Rams beating the Cowgirls. And I have... I can't believe I'm saying this. Yep. Nope. I changed my mind. Sorry, Philly. You're still trash. I got the Saints beating the Eagles on Sunday. So... Colts, Chargers, Rams, Saints. There you go. That's my picks for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I'll send a salute to the Chicago Bears for their 2018 season. It was a lot of fun as a Bears fan watching this season. And in a couple weeks, after we get like the press conferences over with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, I want to watch that. But in a couple weeks, I'm going to be doing a YouTube video just giving my thoughts on the 2018 Bear season as a fan and where things could go for the 2019 season. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me today. And hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. Maybe got to know a little bit more about yours truly personally. And that's always the goal here. We're here to have fun and talk about the world of professional wrestling. So thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Hoots Podcast. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Hoots Podcast. Same thing goes for the Cloud Prince. Follow him on Twitter at AdamDaily13. Make sure to go check out Gotham as well on Fox. And enjoy your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys. This has been episode 138 of The Hoots Podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next week.